Hi, how are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. How's your week?
Good, good. A little bit tricky this week, but we're doing all right.
Yeah, the weather's crazy outside too. I'm glad
sure
we made it in.
Mm-hmm.
And I see you brought our little friend with you.
Yeah, this is Maddie.
Hi Maddie, how are you? Okay, so today, as we talked on the phone, we're going to discuss just about Maddie and just get a couple general questions going. Do you have any questions to me before we start?
No, I think I'm okay.
Okay, let's get started then. So, are there any changes in temperament you notice with Maddie?
On occasion where she's feeling overwhelmed and she can't communicate exactly what she wants, she might throw a fit where she's crying, that sort of thing. Example, last night we were doing some homework and as the questions got more difficult, she got frustrated and then she threw a bit of a fit. But for the most part, she's a pretty happy kid.
Okay, so what I hear you saying is that she doesn't often become agitated or overwhelmed, but when she does, she throws like a little bit of a fit because she can't really control it?
Exactly. It's not often, but it happens.
Okay. Can you describe something you would do that almost always results in this behavior from Maddie?
Right. Yeah, sometimes I get frustrated when she's not listening to what I'm saying, and I'm guilty of yelling at her sometimes, which always escalates the problem when she starts crying. It's not very often, but after a long day of work and I'm stressed, it happens.
Okay, of course, like as adults, that's definitely understandable. Like we have our overwhelming lives and children definitely influence that as well. What was I going to say? What are some strategies have you used in the past to manage this behavior?
So we've tried a few different strategies. I've noticed what really helps is at the beginning of the week, her and I sit down, and we'll create a schedule of what's going to happen each day, and we talk about her like ballet classes and soccer, and I find that helps her.
That's great. That's definitely should be continued throughout this. I think it's a great way to help her. Many children with autism need that sense of control over their schedule and over their day-to-day life. Could you describe the most common strategies you use with Maddie to express her behavior?
Right, so she's higher functioning and her speech is pretty clear. She's having a hard time communicating with me, although sometimes the teacher may have a harder time knowing exactly what she wants. I guess because like me, my husband, and her brother, like we really get Maddie and we get what she wants, so I think it's easier for us rather than her teacher.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. What you're getting at is like you have no problem understanding her and she has no problem understanding you and communicating with you as well as your husband and her brother, but when it comes to school she kind of lacks that.
Yeah, exactly. She does well communicating for the most part, but improvements could be made for sure.
Okay. Could you describe how Maddie's receptive communication skills and abilities to understand others?
Right, so she has a hard time understanding complex instructions. I find if I break things down for her into simple instructions, she's able to understand what I'm asking.
Okay, so she finds simpler instructions easier to follow and easier to follow through.
Exactly, yeah.
Perfect. Could you describe what you do to improve the likelihood of that activities or other things will go well with Maddie?
So we all do our best to make sure she has a quiet, non-disruptive environment to do her schoolwork and activities. She gets upset when I interrupt her when she's in the middle of something. So I try to tell her at the beginning, Maddie, you have one episode of Dora or whatever to watch. And I find that helps her.
That's great to prepare her for when she's going to be transitioning into a new event.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that minimizes her becoming upset when the activity is over?
Typically, yeah, it'll avoid a fit later for sure. I also tell her every 10 minutes or so, like, hey, you've got 10 minutes left or whatever, and she handles the situation way better when she knows what to expect.
That's so good to hear, and I'm glad that works well for you guys and your family. Let's try to continue that on. Do you have a chance to make, or does Maddie have a chance to make choices about what she's going to be doing each day for like breakfast or dressing herself, so on?
Yeah, so she's higher functioning and pretty independent. She's 7, but we try and give her as much choice as possible. Like in the morning, she'll pick what she wears. We'll give her, some choices for lunch, and she's always excited to pick things. I want to give her as much control over her life as possible, and I don't want her disability to impact her independence.
That's great. So my understanding is that she has a lot of control over her small everyday today life situations. I think that is key, that you continue to promote her independence for her, but to help you as well. It also takes some of those little stresses off you, little arguments that don't need to be had.
Mm-hmm.
What support do you receive through the school for Maddie?
To be honest, I think that there could be some improvements made on how the teacher gives Maddie instructions. I always write things down for her, like I said, because the teacher has 30 other students, and she's higher functioning as well. Like, I think she kind of gets looked over, and maybe she's more of an afterthought, explaining things to her.
Okay, so do you think Maddie would benefit from some like little changes being made at school?
Yeah, I think so, for sure.
Okay, we could definitely set up an appointment with the teacher next time you come in and definitely talk to her about those same things, just giving her that opportunity to make those little changes just so she knows and that it will help with Maddie's education.
I think that'd be amazing, yeah.
Okay, last but not least, sorry. Do you describe any religious beliefs that you have that might come into counter with this?
We're actually not religious and don't have any particular cultural customs or anything, so any interventions or anything treatment-wise that you think would help, we're open to for sure.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming and answering these questions. I appreciate your honesty and cooperation. So our next meeting is set up for Tuesday, if that works for you.
Yep, awesome.
Perfect. And we can schedule a meeting with the teacher then and move forward. Do you have any questions?
No, I'm good. Thank you so much for your time.
Alrighty. Well, you have my contact information and you can call me if anything comes up.
Awesome.
But other than that, it was nice seeing you guys today.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy your afternoon.